So why would you take C with a suspended second and tune the third string G down to F, or the fifth on the third string down to a fourth? That's the question that some of you have been asking me since the C sus2 video, and a few people have noticed that I record many of my own songs against that tuning. Well, it's a very versatile tuning. That was the point of the introduction there. And it's also a very helpful tuning for singing, I think. But let's go a bit further. I associated this tuning with Martin Simpson almost exclusively. I don't know anybody else that uses it as intensely as he does. And a few years ago, I was on a workshop with him, and I asked him the question, why do you use this tuning? What's the advantage in tuning that fifth down to the fourth? And he didn't really answer that really, but I watched him for a weekend, came home, played around with things myself, and I think I've got it cracked. So this is my take on the tuning. So let's explore it a little bit first, to the basics. Forget the capo, because we're dealing with intervals. We've got a 1-5-1 on the bass strings again. So just the same as Dagad, just the same as C sus2, just the same as drop D. So we've got our anchor there in the same way. Then we move on to the third string, and then we've dropped the G down to an F, or the fifth down to a fourth. So that gives us 1-5-1-4. Now that's exactly the same as Dagad, and exactly the same as drop D. So although, we're capoing and we're still in D here now, but the intervals are still the same. So the chords work in the same way. So G, E minor, an A, G, and another A. So it's very similar to Dagad on the bass. On the top strings though, we still have that compact nature that we have with the suspended second. So this doesn't sound like Dagad across the whole range of the strings, and we've still got the same scale. And so this is a hybrid tuning. Many of those little chords that we worked on in C sus2 still work. So So a lot of that still works. It's much more compact than Dagad in the way that sus2 was. Now, I use this a lot for singing because somehow it's not quite as bright as C sus2. It's not quite as in your face. It's a bit more flat, a bit more neutral, and I think that works better for carrying a song. But it's also more versatile in this way. So you can follow the line of the tune as I did just there, but you can also play this claw hammer style. Now I can't use claw hammer in C sus2, maybe once or twice, but it doesn't really lend itself to that. It's a different kind of tuning. So this gives you the ability to do both. You can follow the line of the song, or you can play claw hammer. And because it's that hybrid, I find that I can easily transpose some Dagad to this and back again. I can do that sometimes with C sus2, but not always. So you need to play around with this tuning and see how it works. For the performer, it has some other advantages as well. I sing a lot in D, as do a lot of men. And if I'm using this tuning as opposed to Dagad, I'm effectively giving myself a 12-fret guitar. So if I'm standing up, it's a lot more compact, a lot more comfortable to play than playing D on the full length of the scale. And that seems to make a big difference. So it's more comfortable. It's slightly more neutral than the C with the suspended second. It's more versatile. And of course, you've still got everything from C up to G using a capo here as well. So you've got a very useful range of the scale there. So that's my take on it. C with a suspended fourth and a suspended ninth. If you're playing around with C with a suspended second, just try it. Drop that down and see where you go. There is one downside to this though, that if you're regularly moving between the two, so that fourth is regularly becoming a fifth, or the F to G and back again, you will find you break strings. So when people say to me, when do you change your strings? Well, I change them when that breaks. As long as you wind the strings properly, it won't be too bad. And you'll probably find they break within a reasonably acceptable level at which you're losing the shine on the strings. But you won't be able to do this, play between these tunings and keep the same set of strings on for a year. Anyway, try yourself, drop the fifth down to the fourth, see how you get on. Let me know.